The Hells Angels don't have to actively recruit members. They want people that bring them value.
In an instant, the world of the Hells Angels goes from 0 to 100, where ordinary rides turn into extraordinary tales of danger and dominance. These stories aren't just about bikers and leather, they're about survival in a lawless land, where decisions are life-changing and reputations are built on fear. These are tales of defiance, power, and a ride on the wild side of life. Join us as we dive into the lives of the 10 most dangerous Hells Angels, individuals whose stories go beyond the leather jackets and chrome. Number 1. George Wethen. As the former vice president of the Oakland chapter, Wethen's name became synonymous with some of the gang's most notorious activities. He wasn't just a figurehead. His involvement extended deeply into serious criminal acts, including drug trafficking and connections to multiple homicides.
Members of the Hells Angels motorcycle gang accused of running a racketeering ring, which included robbery, extortion, and murder.
However, the pivotal moment in Wethen's life came when he was cornered by the law. In a surprising twist, he chose to become a state witness, a move that dramatically changed the course of his life and the history of the Hells Angels. This decision not only earned him immunity from prosecution, but also marked his entry into the Witness Protection Program. His testimony provided critical insights into the inner workings of the gang, revealing a world of violence and crime that had previously been shrouded in secrecy. Wethen's transition from a feared biker to a protected informant was a significant blow to the Hells Angels, unveiling the darker aspects of the club and challenging the unspoken rule of silence that governed the outlaw biker world. Number 2. Alan Pasaro. Pasaro's name became headline news following the 1969 Altamont Free Concert, a day that started as a celebration of music but ended in tragedy. During this event, Pasaro was involved in a fight that led to the death of Meredith Hunter, a moment captured in chilling detail on camera.
You couldn't see anything. Where's another scuffle?
There's the angel right there with the knife.
Where's the gun?
I'll roll it back and you'll see it against the girl's crocheted dress.
Right, it's there, isn't it? It's so horrible.
Hunter, who had drawn a revolver amidst the chaos of the concert, was seen being confronted and ultimately stabbed by Pasaro. This incident occurred as the Rolling Stones played, unknowingly providing the soundtrack to a moment that would mark a dark chapter in music history. Pasaro was arrested and charged with Hunter's murder, but the subsequent trial concluded with his acquittal. The jury accepted his plea of self-defense after reviewing the footage showing Hunter brandishing the weapon. Alan Pasaro's story, however, didn't end there. In 1985, years after the infamous concert, he met an untimely and mysterious demise. Pasaro was found drowned in Anderson Lake in southern Santa Clara County. The circumstances of his death raised many questions, with authorities deeming it suspicious. His involvement in the Altamont incident and his subsequent death added a layer of notoriety and mystery to his legacy, one that continues to intrigue and raise questions to this day. Number 3. Paul Merl Eyeshide. By day, Eyeshide was a respectable stockbroker, a professional navigating the complex world of finance. But as the sun set, he donned a different persona, that of a Hells Angels member, fully immersed in the outlaw biker culture. This duality of life is a rare glimpse into how seamlessly danger and normalcy can coexist. Eyeshide's descent into infamy was cemented with his involvement in a heinous crime, the murder of Yvonne Garcia.
After almost 2 decades on the run, a Hells Angel gang member is back in U.S. custody for the gruesome murder of a local woman.
U.S. Marshals extradited Paul Eyeshide back to the U.S. this week. He was captured in Argentina 7 years ago and held in jail down there. Investigators say back in 2001, Eyeshide and another man murdered Cynthia Garcia, a mother of 6, by stabbing her 27 times, partially decapitating her.
In 2001, Garcia, a 44-year-old mother, fell victim to a brutal act that shocked the community. It was alleged that she had disrespected the Hells Angels during a party, a mistake that led to her tragic end. Eyeshide, along with other gang members, was accused of abducting Garcia, resulting in her death. This incident not only highlighted the ruthless nature of the gang, but also showed how Eyeshide's double life had a dark and lethal side. The gravity of his crimes soon caught up with him, leading to a dramatic turn in his story. Faced with legal repercussions, Eyeshide became a fugitive. He successfully evaded capture for 15 years, a period during which he reportedly changed his appearance and assumed a new identity. However, in a twist of fate, Eyeshide's run from the law ended in Argentina, where he was apprehended and his facade of a double life was finally shattered. His capture brought closure to a long-standing manhunt, turning Eyeshide from a feared biker into a wanted criminal now facing the consequences of his actions. Number 4. Michel Sky Langlois. Initially a member of the Popeyes motorcycle club, Langlois' path took a significant turn when his club was absorbed by the Hells Angels, a move that pushed him into the higher ranks of the biker world. His rise within the ranks was rapid, and he soon found himself at the peak of power as the Canadian national president of the Hells Angels. Langlois' presidency was marked by more than just leadership. It was tainted by deep involvement in criminal activities. His name became synonymous with drug trafficking, an illegal trade that the Hells Angels were deeply entrenched in, but it was his connection to the infamous Lennoxville massacre that truly sealed his notoriety. This heinous act, which resulted in the deaths of several Hells Angels members in 1985, was a brutal testament to the internal power struggles and ruthless enforcement within the gang. The Lennoxville massacre was not just a turning point for the Hells Angels, it was also a pivotal moment in Langlois' life. His role in this event, as an accessory to murder, revealed the dark side of his leadership. His involvement in these high-profile criminal activities ultimately led to a legacy marked more by infamy than by leadership. Number 5. James Jim Brandis. As the vice president of the Oakland chapter, Brandis was not just a high-ranking member, he was a feared leader, a man whose reputation preceded him in the shadowy corridors of outlaw biker culture. His presence within the gang was synonymous with authority and intimidation, and his involvement in criminal activities was extensive and notorious. Brandis's criminal record included serious charges like drug trafficking and racketeering, but it was his involvement in multiple murders that truly highlighted the danger he represented. His name was linked to some of the most violent acts associated with the Hells Angels. This made Brandis a central figure in the Hells Angels narrative, embodying the gang's fearsome reputation. However, Brandis's story took a tragic turn in 1994. When he was in prison, facing the consequences of his long criminal career, he made the drastic decision to end his life. This act marked a sorrowful end to his life. Number 6. David Wolf Carroll. As a member of the Elite Nomad chapter, Carroll wasn't just another face in the crowd. He was a trusted hitman, a role that placed him at the heart of the gang's most violent and secretive operations. His reputation as a formidable enforcer was well known within the outlaw biker community, making him a key player in the Hells Angels hierarchy. Carroll's name is linked to one of the most notorious events in the gang's history, the Lennoxville massacre. This brutal incident, involving the murder of several Hells Angels members in 1985, highlighted the severe internal conflicts within the gang. Carroll was charged with first-degree murder for his involvement in this massacre, but in a turn of events that surprised many, he was acquitted. The story of Wolf Carroll, however, didn't end with this arrest. In a move that further cemented his infamous legacy, Carroll became a fugitive. It's believed that he fled to Brazil, successfully evading capture by law enforcement. His escape added a layer of mystery to his already dark legend. Carroll's ability to disappear, seemingly into thin air, and avoid the long arm of the law has made him a figure of intrigue and speculation. His whereabouts remain unknown. Number 7. Robert Chico Mora. Before his name became synonymous with the Hells Angels, Mora led the Dirty Dozen, a formidable motorcycle gang in its own right. His leadership skills and ruthless approach caught the attention of the Hells Angels, leading to the eventual merging of the Dirty Dozen into the larger, more notorious gang. This move not only expanded the Hells Angels' influence, but also solidified Mora's position as a key player in the biker underworld. Mora's criminal record was as extensive as it was serious. He had a manslaughter conviction under his belt, which highlights the violent life he led. Beyond that, he was deeply involved in methamphetamine distribution and implicated in several murder cases. These criminal activities were part of his life within the Hells Angels. However, Mora's story, like many others in this dangerous world, had a sudden and unexpected end. In 2014, he passed away due to complications from diabetes. His death marked the end of an era for the Hells Angels and the biker culture he had been a part of. Mora's life and demise illustrate the harsh realities of the outlaw biker lifestyle, where power and danger often walk hand in hand. Number 8. Yves Apache Trudeau. Before joining the Hells Angels, Trudeau was already a well-known figure in the biker world as a member of the Popeyes. What set him apart was his unique skill set. He was an expert in explosives, a talent that made him both valuable and feared in equal measure. Trudeau's infamy reached its peak with a horrifying confession. He admitted to committing 43 murders. Trudeau's actions contributed significantly to the gang's fearsome reputation, making him one of the most notorious figures in the annals of outlaw motorcycle gangs. However, Trudeau's life took an unexpected turn when he became a government informant. This decision to collaborate with law enforcement marked a drastic shift in his trajectory. His choice to turn informant was a betrayal of the biker code and made him a pariah in the world he once ruled. Trudeau's final years were a sharp contrast to his violent past. He died in 2008 from cancer, leaving behind a legacy of fear, violence, and a life that epitomized the deadly extremes of outlaw biker culture. Number 9. Maurice Bouche. His early life was far from idyllic, marked by a troubled childhood that steered him towards a life of crime. Boucher's criminal career began with petty offenses, but quickly escalated as he chased greater thrills and power. His charisma and ruthless ambition led him to the Hells Angels, where he quickly made a name for himself. In a bold move, Bouche formed the Nomads chapter of the Hells Angels, a decision that significantly altered the landscape of organized crime in Quebec. Under his leadership, the Nomads became deeply involved in the drug trade, a lucrative but dangerous venture that further solidified their fearsome reputation. Bouche's name became synonymous with the Hells Angels' rise to power in Canada, embodying the gang's relentless pursuit of dominance. However, Bouche's rule was not without its consequences. His involvement in orchestrating murders, including those of law enforcement officers, eventually led to his downfall. Convicted for these heinous crimes, Bouche's life of power and control came to an abrupt end. Imprisoned and later expelled from the Hells Angels, he spent his final years behind bars. In 2022, Bouche's story concluded with his death from cancer, marking the end of an era for one of the most notorious figures in the Hells Angels' history.
It's a time that, looking back, is almost hard to believe. This was Maurice Bouche at a court appearance for his son. Bouche was the head of an elite chapter of the Hells Angels. Everyone knew Bouche was a killer, and he knew everyone knew.
Number 10. Michel Jinx, Geneste. His role in the infamous Lennoxville Purge, where 5 members of the gang's Laval chapter in Quebec were brutally murdered, highlighting the violence that often shadows outlaw motorcycle clubs. This event, known as the Lennoxville Massacre, stands as one of the most brutal episodes in the gang's history, and Geneste played a significant part in it. A former member of the Hells Angels, Geneste's journey through the ranks was marred by violence and strict adherence to the gang's ruthless code. The Lennoxville Massacre was a chilling demonstration of this code, where internal disputes were settled with fatal consequences. For his involvement in these murders, Geneste was sentenced to life in prison. However, Geneste's story took a turn while he was behind bars. He was eventually granted full parole after serving a significant portion of his sentence. Remarkably, during his time in prison, Geneste chose to distance himself from the Hells Angels, a decision that marked a significant shift in his life. He openly admitted to his role in the murders, acknowledging them as part of enforcing the club's rules. Geneste's post-imprisonment life reflects a departure from his past, offering a rare glimpse into the possibility of change. The stories of these 10 Hells Angels members reveal a world where rules are bent and lives are often on the line. Their stories of power, violence, and eventual downfalls raise a crucial question. In the pursuit of infamy and control within the outlaw biker world, what is the true cost of living beyond the law? Thanks for watching. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, so you don't miss out on any future videos like the one on the screen now. See you on the next one.